on reste, nous, saisis de la question. Il faut demander à mon successeur qui arrive à l'instant. Sur la Libye, peut-être un mot, si ça vous intéresse. Sur la RDC, on y reviendra. Sur... maybe I'll switch to English. It's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. On Libya, before the consultations that we are about to have, I think that more than ever, our common enemy there is the status quo. So the emergency, the number one priority is to break with the status quo and to try and encourage the political momentum that our friend Hassan Salamé has been working on. That's why we more than ever support his efforts and his new plan of action with respect in particular of the organization of a national conference. We believe that the objective that has been endorsed in Palermo to have a national conference as soon as possible is indeed, and if possible, in order to have parliament elections before the spring, is more important than ever. So that's really at the heart of his current efforts. I think the second front that we are working on is about the situation on the ground, which is, of course, worrying. We are deeply concerned by the Security Council and the security situation in and around Tripoli and in other places of Libya. We are deeply concerned also with the terrorist threat that remains quite high in the country. And that's why, in this context, the unification of the Libyan armed forces under the authority of the civilian power is the number one priority in this respect. So I want to recall that those who threaten Libya's peace, security and stability are exposed to international sanctions. I think it's one of the key messages that I will pass on to my colleagues during the consultation. So long story short, the situation on the ground, the unification of the Libyan armed forces under civilian power on one side, the priority to a national conference as soon as possible in order to have the elections before the spring of this year, secondly, and also that's the third front, the economic front, the implementation of economic reforms, but also the necessary improvement of the humanitarian situation and the respect of human rights. These are the three convergent messages that I will pass on to my colleagues. All this under the auspices of Hassan Salamé that we more than ever need to collectively support. So long story short, that's what I wanted to say on Libya.
Thanks so much. Will you take a question on that?
Maybe, but
There was just a lot of information in the SG's latest report about Libya, about prisoners, large numbers of men, women, even children locked up over Libya under militia groups. They never get to have a day in court. They don't have any right to make a case to get out, in jail for long periods of time. Is that something you guys are talking about? Is it on the Security Council agenda in any way, or as a human rights issue or a sanctions issue even?
This is clearly on the agenda, indeed. Now, of course, this is a source of concern. As you know, we are committed to trying and solve this part of the equation that we are directly concerned by definition. And so, yes, it's part of the agenda. I didn't mention it because we are really kind of focused on these three complementary convergences. But yes, this is a concern that we have as France and that we'll share with our colleagues.
Anything you guys can do about it?
Commitment and pressure, I believe, and collective pressure. Okay, les amis, don't be gloomy as the weather, huh? Okay?
You're not gloomy.
No, I see that.